Hi, and welcome to Run Tall with Tim. I'm Tim. Thanks for being here. I always appreciate the time that you and I get to spend together, so thanks for tuning in. And I hope wherever you are that you're happy, healthy, and staying safe. On today's video, I'm going to be reviewing and sharing my thoughts on a newly released trail shoe by Hoka. It's their Speedgoat 5. According to Hoka, the Speedgoat 5 has been completely reworked from the previous version of the shoe, including a new upper as well as a new midsole. But did these changes make it better or worse? Well, that's the question we're going to try to answer today, so be sure to stick around. But before I get into it too far, I always like to demonstrate what it looks like to run in the shoes I'm about to review for you. So let's do that. But then when we come back together, I'm going to take a real close look at the Hoka Speedgoat 5 to try to answer that all-important question, are these the right shoes for you? I did purchase these with my own money. They cost $155 US. They're a neutral trail shoe that I ordered true to size and they fit me perfectly. For a men's size 9 on my scales, they came in at 9.8 ounces or 277 grams. I've got just a little over 25 miles in these, almost 26, and they've been a lot of fun to run in. So let's talk about why it is that they are so much fun. And I'm going to start with the midsole. With the midsole, they've got a pretty good stack height of their EVA foam underfoot. You've got 33 millimeter stack height in the heel and 29 millimeters up in the forefoot for a 4 millimeter offset from the heel to the toe. Spring measurement wise, because this is something that Hoka went to a few years ago, they have your heel setting off the ground by 35 millimeters, and in the forefoot, it sets off the ground by 21 millimeters. So they're really measuring that spring that you get as you strike the ground and move through your gait cycle. The midsole also features a late stage meta rocker, so they start that curvature just a little past your metatarsal head here. So a little bit later than what you might find in some of their speed shoes, like the Mach 4 that has an early stage meta rocker, or the Rencon, or any of those shoes that they have for those speed days. But as a trail shoe, that 4 millimeter offset and that late stage meta rocker makes for a very comfortable ride as you transition and strike the ground and move through your gait cycle. Now the EVA foam that they have in the Speedgoat 5 feels a little softer and a little bit more bouncy than previous versions of the shoe. Now I did not run in the Speedgoat 4, but I put a lot of miles in the Speedgoat 3, and in my opinion, this midsole is much improved over the Speedgoat 3. Now, Hoka did change the compound in the EVA foam that they used in the midsole to make it a little lighter, a little softer to run on, and to give it more bounce. You can definitely tell that. These were really comfortable. It didn't matter what the terrain was that I was running on, whether I was in gravel or running on trails with some exposed roots and that type of thing. They felt really comfortable and very soft and highly cushioned with lots of energy return. One of the things that I noticed over the Speedgoat 3, and remember I didn't run in the Speedgoat 4, but in the Speedgoat 3, I felt like they had a little bit more of a challenge when I was moving from the road to the trail. I didn't really particularly care to run in the Speedgoat 3 on any kind of concrete or pavement, but I did enjoy these. I feel like they are just a softer, a little better ride, even when you're on the pavement and transitioning from the road to the trail. So I think they did a really good job here in making a more versatile shoe. And for me, it's perfect for the road conditions or running conditions I typically am on out at my local state park, where I have all of those different surfaces. So I have pavement, I've got some dirt or gravel roads or trails, and then I've got some more of the technical trails to run on too. Now these do not have a rock plate in them, but they do have some protection around the toe box, and we'll take a look at that here in just a minute. So let's flip these over and see how they're protecting all of that soft EVA foam that we just talked about. Now here for the outsole material, they feature their Vibram Mega Grip. Now this is one of my favorite outsole materials that they can use on a trail shoe, because even on wet conditions, it seems to stick really well and still give you good traction. And the lugs themselves are multi-directional, as you can see, and they're pretty deep. They're about 5 millimeters deep, and they have this little bit of extra grip to those lugs as well. Now that helps in especially loose gravel conditions or in muddy conditions to give you just that little bit of extra traction. Now the upper features a double layered jacquard mesh material that's both lightweight and durable. I think these are going to last a long time and hold up really well out on the trails. They do have this plastic toe cap to give you a little added protection in case you were to kick a root or a stone. And even though it's a double layered material, it still has plenty of airflow, but maybe more importantly for a trail shoe is it allows the moisture to wick away. So if your feet do get wet, they're able to dry out. And then as we pan around to the side of the shoe, you can see that there's really no additional plastic overlays at all. And then when we get back to the heel counter area, we can see that they have their Hoka logo there. So let's take a look at the eyelet chain or the lace enclosure system. Now here they used a really traditional eyelet chain system here, so there's no big wow factor with the exception of the start. Now here you can see that they added a stretch panel that gives it a little extra comfort and it reduces any kind of bunching that I can sometimes get at the start of an eyelet chain. Other than that, they've got some plastic overlays around the eyelets themselves to give it a little extra durability so you don't have to worry about your laces pulling through, and they did add that extra eyelet in case you want to run with the runner's knot. Now, I didn't have any issues in feeling like I was locked in and secure all the way from the midfoot back through to the heel cup. Now the tongue is semi-gusseted, so it stays in place really well. I didn't have any issues with it migrating around. It laid nice and flat across the top of my midfoot. And even though it's a very thin tongue, so there's no additional padding there really to speak of, I never felt like the laces were cutting across the top of my foot. Never had any kind of discomfort along those lines at all. And so I do appreciate the fact that, if you're going to add some weight by adding some cushion, that you put it in the areas where you're really going to need it. And I don't think that they needed it here. I think they did a really good job in the design of the tongue. So let's take a look at the padding around the heel collar and the tab of the shoe. Now here they have a pretty generous amount. I would say it's a traditional style of padding, so it rests mainly up around the collar, but there's lots of padding back here around your Achilles area to give you a nice comfortable ride. Never had any kind of hot spots. Very comfortable to run in. Found it really enjoyable. Now they do feature this Achilles heel flare here. Now this is something that Hoka's been doing now for a little while, and while it feels really nice on my Achilles and it's very comfortable that way, the only issue that I had from time to time was I would get some pebbles that might kick up or debris, especially when I was running on the gravel. But other than that, I found it to be a really comfortable ride. And you can always use that Achilles heel flare to help you get your shoes on because they don't have a pull tab should you wish to do so. So let's check out the heel counter and see how much structure that they have back here. Now, as I put it up on my shoulder and give it the pinch test, there's a fair amount of resistance there, so there's plenty of structure to uphold your heel in place, and I never had any heel slippage, either side to side or up or down. And as I turn and I press forward, again, they have plenty of structure back there. I wouldn't say that it's rigid, but it's more than enough to hold your heel in place to keep you comfortable when you're out running. Overall, I'm really enjoying the Hoka Speedgoat 5. I love the changes that Hoka has made to this version of the shoe. The midsole is softer, it's got a little more bounce to it, a little more energy return. It's just a lot of fun and comfortable to run in. Much more so, in my opinion, than the previous version of the shoe that I have. And the upper, the double layered jacquard mesh material, I think is both going to be durable, and it's lightweight and breathable, and it allows that moisture to wick away. Hey, thanks for making it to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it for you. As always, run tall, run strong, be kind to one another. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on Run Tall with Tim. Regular day.